ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नित्यानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानन्दप्रदायिने कलौ कल्मषनाशाय जानवापते नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 59. So this verse, Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina Rasvarjam Rasvapyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. The taste for sense object leaves behind that activity of sense gratification such a deep impression that it's very difficult to overcome it. Uh, the activities of sense enjoyment is so dangerous, so powerful. Once a person undergoes any sense gratificatory activity, so it's not just for the time being when he's under the activity of sense enjoyment, he is entangled. Rather, he is entangled after the post sense gratification activity has got more impact, and it is very difficult. Lord Krishna is saying the same thing here. The person cannot forget the taste for sense objects, and since there can never be the limit of sense enjoyment, so that the taste for sense enjoyment uh, inspires the person, not exactly inspires, or creates the impulse to enjoy it again and again in a more and more perfect way. Uh, there's no perfect way, but it inspires. It creates an impulse. That's why it's very difficult for a living entity who is conditioned soul. For a conditioned soul, of course, it's very difficult to forget the taste of material enjoyment. So, if you heard yesterday's lecture, so we very elaborately discussed the solution part, which is more of importance. These first three lines are more or less very discouraging for all of us because all of us have been into the business of sense gratification since time immemorial. Maybe a person uh, may not have undergone certain kind of sense enjoyment in this birth, but because in our previous life, all of us have been uh, tried our best to enjoy sense gratification to fullest extent of all the varieties. That's why the taste is still there and the experience is still there. The experience is there. And the proof of this is that sometimes, even in dreams, although we have not undergone certain kind of sense enjoyment, uh, means physically in this birth, but sometimes in the dream, those sense gratificatory activities appear in the mind. So this is the proof that in our previous births we have been into all these nonsense activities, of sense enjoyment. So why to increase it more? Rather, the time for all of us is to realize the fourth line of this verse, Param Drishtva Nivartate. This is the solution. So although the first three lines are maybe very demotivating and discouraging, and practically there is no one in the entire creation except Lord Narayana who is free from the this force or impulse of sense enjoyment. Especially the most impulsive kind of sense enjoyment is sex life, sex desire is the most impulsive. And nobody, including the great demigods, Lord Brahma also became bewildered. Even Lord Shiva also became bewildered. Only that's why in the Bhagavatam, Rite Narayanam, there is a verse, Rite Na Narayanam Kama. I hope I get the verse because I do not know exactly this verse. Rite Narayanam Bhagavatam, maybe. Let's say Rite Narayanam Kama Bhagavatam refers to the concept fulfilling desires of the worship Lord. 4.8.41, let's see. धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षाख्यम य इच्छये इच्छेस शयात्मनः एकम हि हरे सरस तत्र कारणम पाद सेवनम. Now, there's one verse like this. Vrite Narayana. Nobody except Lord Narayana who is free from this. Viditara apara prakriti janapado Naranarayana. Maybe I think um, except except Narayana, everyone is influenced. Yes. Bhagavatam 4.29.51. Yeah, this is the verse I think. Yeah, Savai Priyatamascha Tatma Yato na bhayam anuapi iti Veda Savai Vidwan Savidwan Saguro Hari Kintu Prabhurya Priyaiva Tasya. No, okay, I didn't get this verse, but there is one verse. I'll tell you the incident. When Lord Narayana came as Nar Narayan Rishi, they appeared in Satyuga to perform great austerities. Indradev, Lord Indra became very insecure that oh, such a great tapasvi is performing such great austerities. He will take my kingdom. Uh, so he sent very most beautiful apsaras along with Cupid also. Cupid came and he released all the arrows which he had. It is said Cupid has five arrows and which induces five kinds of lusty desires in the heart of a person. So these arrows are so powerful. Nobody in the creation has the power to resist the attacks of those arrows. So Cupid, as soon as he wanted to release those five arrows on Lord Narayan, the opposite happened. Simply by seeing the form of Lord Narayana, beauty of Lord Narayana, Cupid became captivated and he fell off. He fell down immediately, along with his arrows and bow, and he himself he fell down. And all the Apsaras, they also became bewildered, seeing the beautiful form of Lord Narayana. And then Lord Narayana could understand that these foolish people, they have come to agitate my urge of sex, and they have come to increase my lusty desires. So Lord Narayana became very merciful, and he said, "Okay, you became failed in your attempt, but you are sent by Lord Indra. Uh, so I offer the most beautiful apsara for Indra. Take." Then Lord Narayana, from his body, he created many apsaras And all those apsaras were far more beautiful than the apsaras which were sent by Indra to seduce Lord Narayana. And Lord Narayana then said, that you take one of these apsaras and gift it to Lord Indra from my side. Then one, so that one apsara is known as Urvashi. That's why Urvashi is known as daughter of Lord Narayana. And she was gifted by Lord Narayana himself to Lord Indra when Indra tried to um, uh, seduce Lord Narayana. So it was complete unsuccessful attempt. He was completely baffled. That's why Krishna is completely free from all lusty affairs, lusty desires. So one should understand very clearly when in the pastimes of Lord Krishna we find that Krishna is running after gopis or Krishna is performing rasa dance, and there are few pastimes, not few, there are many pastimes where Lord Krishna is just acting like what you say, a debauchee boy. A debauchee means a boy who runs after girls to enjoy sex enjoyment for sex enjoyment. So Krishna runs after gopis like this, but this is not the case. He is completely free from lust. There is no lust at all. And who glorifies Krishna? That he is completely free from all lust, and he is a complete form of Nastic Brahmacharya. He is the greatest Brahmachari. Bhishma Pitama glorifies Krishna as the greatest Brahmachari. Durvasa Rishi glorifies, Sukadeva Goswami, Narad Muni, Lord Shiva also glorifies. Bhishma Pitama clearly said, Bhishma Pitama, he is such a great personality that he could maintain his Brahmacharya Vrat even while living in royal palace. Just imagine, it's almost impossible. Even for a person who takes a sannyas and who goes away from society, they do not at all come in contact with any woman. They take sannyas. For them also, it is very difficult to perfectly follow brahmacharya, and sometimes it is seen that great brahmacharis and sannyasis also fall down. They become victim of this woman maya. But Bhishma Pitama, he was so determined, so powerful brahmachari that even though he was living in the palace, just imagine in the palace there are many queens, many beautiful girls, but he was living there as good as a sannyasi without getting disturbed, without getting agitated. So that Bhishmadama says when he was glorifying Lord Krishna, he said, Krishna is far better brahmachari than me. If I am surrounded by millions of gopis, beautiful gopis, damsels of Vrindavan, they were all very beautiful girls, no comparison at all. So I would have fallen down. I would have fallen down. But Krishna, although in during Rasa dance, he was surrounded by millions and millions of very most beautiful, enchanting gopis, but still he was completely unagitated, undisturbed. That is Krishna. So never ever, one should never ever try to underestimate the character of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is completely freed because he is even the source of Lord Narayana. Lord Narayana is only, the point is, Lord Narayana is the only personality in the entire creation who is completely freed from all lust, but everyone else is under the grip of material nature. And because conditioned soul in this material existence, they have this experience of sense enjoyment. So the taste is there. Not just this taste is not just of this one birth, this birth only, but the taste is there in the form of impressions and impulses stored within the mind of the conditioned soul, which he has done in many millions of births. Uh, but the good thing, or the best thing we can say that is param drishva nivartate. All these bad impressions or the desires for sense enjoyment, these lusty impressions, can immediately be overcome if one just realizes param. Param means Krishna. Param drishtva nivartate. It's very, it does not take even a single moment to transcend all these things, to cross over these insurmountable impressions of lusty desires. This is an impossible task, even for great demigods. There are unlimited. unlimited impressions of lusty desires. It's not possible to overcome all those things, which are stored within the deeply stored within the heart. Even even a person who has taken sannyas and who has followed the sannyas dharma ashram uh, to means up to the standard throughout his life, but still within the the heart deepness of his heart, the lusty impressions are present because of the activities of sense gratification in his previous life. So there is every possibility that if one comes in contact with such association, one's lusty desires again arouse, and these lusty desires arises not just by coming in physically in contact with a person, but these are so powerful. Any of the sense, if it gets the opportunity, it can arise the lusty desires, especially this sex desire is so powerful that it can arise within the heart of a person simply by hearing, simply by once seeing, simply by smelling, uh, and what to speak of touching. Touch is the sensation. Similarly, eyes are also sense, ears are also sense, and tongue and smell. These all are the sense. Through these senses, if one comes in contact immediately, there is possibility that lusty desires again may appear, reappear. Already it's there, but it may appear, and it can bewilder the knowledge of the person. Third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly says, this jnanam avritta dehinam kamarupena kaunteya duspurena nalena cha. This lust is so powerful that it overcomes the knowledge of the person completely, and he becomes completely bewildered. And then he acts very madly in order to satisfy those lusty desires. And then practically it is impossible. Then he is doomed completely. He's finished. His all his spiritual life, all his everything is finished. Just like Vilma Mangal Thakur, he was such a great devotee. In his previous life, Vilma Mangal Thakur was a great sannyasi. But simply because he committed some offense towards a Vaishnava. So in his next life, he was cursed to come in association of a prostitute. And in the next life, he became means and came in very close association with a prostitute, and he became practically mad after her. So much so that the same Vilvamangal Thakur, who was a great sannyasi in his previous life, in this life, he became so mad after lust that on the day of death of his father, when his father's antim sanskar, the last rituals were supposed to happen. So she could not even finish. He could not wait to finish the Antim Sanskar of his father. She immediately ran from there in the evening. And it was so heavy rain that practically it is impossible to go from one place to another place. But still, somehow or other, he managed to go. And in between, there was a river, and there no boatman because it was so heavy rain. Boatman they left, but he saw a wooden log. It appeared to him that that was a wooden log, but actually that was a dead body of a person who just drowned in the river. So considering that dead body to be a wooden log, he uh, uh, caught it and then he crossed the river. Just imagine, he was so desperate to fulfill the lust. And when he went there, so it was so noisy because great rain and heavy rain and all these things was going on. So he was knocking the door, but the prostitute was not hearing. So climbing on the rope, it appeared to him that that was rope, but actually that was a snake. So considering a snake to be a rope, he climbed on the wall and got onto the ceiling, and then he uh, from there, because the ceiling was made up of uh, those dry grasses. So he jumped from there and immediately he embraced that prostitute. The prostitute, Chintamani, the name of the prostitute was Chintamani. She became very surprised and she immediately became very angry upon this Vilomanga Thakur, and she uh, she chastised him that the amount of passion you have to enjoy my body, if even a fraction of that passion you develop to get the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, you would have become such a great devotee. What nonsense you are doing! You are a you are a worst class animal in this world. Like this, he very chastised him. And when he heard this chastisement, immediately his previous life's devotional service to Krishna awakened within his heart, and somehow or other he developed this desire, willingness factor that I should search, I should run after Krishna. And immediately he left that place. He did not go to home, and he immediately went out to search for Krishna. He went to Vrindavan. He took sannyas, but it's still because he was habituated to enjoy uh, lusty desire. So when he reached Vrindavan, so he saw a very beautiful young Brahmin girl, and he started following her through eyes, because eyes is very powerful. Through eyes, the lusty person can see the form of a woman and estimate that, oh, I can enjoy with her very nicely. Uh, Especially, he analyzes the figure of a woman through eyes, and through ears, he hears the voice of a sweet voice of a woman, and then he contemplates to enjoy sense gratification. So, these eyes and ears are so powerful, and smell, not just this, smelling is also so powerful. Simply by smelling, uh, one gets attached to enjoy lusty affairs. And what to speak of touch? Touch sensation is so powerful. So Vilmamangal Thakur, he saw the beautiful feature of that Brahmin, young Brahmin girl, and he knew that she is a Brahmin girl. She is supposed to be treated like a mother. She is my mother. Brahmanas are considered to be mother and father, and spiritual master. Any Brahmin girl, uh, a Brahmin girl means any devotee girl. The same thing. Devotee girl means a Brahmin girl. So all the devotee girls and Brahmin girls must be treated as good as mother. A mother means one should not even look above their feet. One should only look down towards their feet. But the Kali Yuga is so degraded, so nasty that people, even sometimes devotees, they look towards devotee Matajis with eyes full of lust, and they want to seduce them and enjoy with them. This is so nonsense, so nasty thing. So Vilumangal Thakur, although even though he was understanding that what nonsense I'm doing, but he was forced to do this. So he followed her. And he was even in the dress of a sannyasi. So he went, and inside the home, so the husband of that girl, Mataji, she approached that sannyasi. He thought that he's a very great sannyasi. Let us serve this sadhu. So both of them, they came to serve. And then he asked, my dear sadhu, my dear sannyasi, what do you want? How can we serve you? And this shameless sannyasi, he immediately said that I want to enjoy your wife. Just imagine. Uh, he was so affected with lust. But salute to that Brahmin. Uh, he was so desperate in his heart. He has such a desperate desire to serve a sannyasi that he immediately went inside the house and asked his wife that this sadhu, this sannyasi, want to enjoy with you. So please, my desire is that you satisfy him by all means, because he is a sannyasi. Uh, he did not consider that this is bogus sannyasi. He wants to enjoy lusty affair with his wife, but simply because he has dressed himself with like a sannyasi, he told his wife that you go and satisfy her. So when this sannyasi saw that such a nice attitude he has, so from inside actually he was repenting like anything. He was crying from inside, but because of lust he was unable to control it. So as soon as that Brahmin Mataji she came, so she asked her that you please give your clip with which she had tied her ears. So he took the clips and immediately he blinded himself uh, immediately on the spot, and he became blind completely. ना रहेगा बांस ना बजेगी बांसुरी. So it's a very difficult task. Nobody can do this, and one is not required to do this. But the lesson one should learn from this, that One should avoid association of contact of objects of senses uh, by any means, either through eyes, through ears, through nose, tongue, and touch. All the five senses are almost equally powerful, because each one of the senses can drag the mind of a person who is practicing spiritual life. And this fact has already been explained by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Indriyani, Pramathini, Indriyani, Pramathini, Haranti, Prashabham Mana. Oh, next verse is this. Oh, we are discussing verse number 59. And next verse is this. Lord Krishna says, Yatato hi api kaunteya, Purushasya Vipashita. Vipashita means very learned person. Indriyani Pramathini, Haranti Prashabham Mana. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. It's not that Vipashita means he is endeavoring to control the senses, but the senses, not just one sense, touch sensation or just eyes. Senses, all the senses are so strong and impetuous. What is the meaning of impetuous? Impetuous means it is impulsive, I think. The meaning must be impulsive. It's very impulsive. Acting or done quickly and without thinking. Uh, which Avivek would say. Impetuous behavior means impulsive, done quickly, without thinking. Means you'll not even one doesn't get even the time to think over it. The senses are so powerful uh, and strong that they forcibly carry away the mind, forcibly, balpurvak, baladivan yojita. Of a man, even of a man of discrimination, a person who has discrimination power, vipashita, very learned, knows all everything, and who is endeavoring to control them. Then what to speak of us who have no perfect power of discrimination and who have no perfect control over the senses? We are not fully endeavoring to control them. And what is our condition, our stage? Uh, it's simply that's why Srila Prabhupada said it's an impossible task to be able to follow four relative principles in this age of Kali, especially big cities like Mumbai. But those devotees who are able to do it, uh, then it must be understood that they are specifically blessed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only by the mercy, causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a person may be able to fully, strictly follow the four related principles. Because Ajamila, also, simply by seeing just one scene of a Shudra embracing a Shudrani, both were in a drunkard state, and his mind became completely bewildered. He was not just standing there and watching full movie. No, he just saw, and little bit contemplation came within his mind, and he immediately left the place. And while he was going home, he was just trying very hard through scripture knowledge to distract the mind from that bad thought and to focus on the service of Krishna. He was a man of full discrimination. He was a perfect Brahman, Ajamila. But, and he could control also for some time. But after a few days, the thought again he could not forget that lady's expression of the features of her bodily features, because she was half naked, and the person was very loosely embracing her. And this is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Her eyes and the person's eyes, the man's eyes and her eyes were rolling because of intoxication. So all these sight that completely induced the lusty feelings within the heart of Ajamila, and he could not control, and he immediately brought the same prostitute to the house to enjoy with her. Although this Brahman Ajamila, she already had a very beautiful Brahmin wife, by the way. You should understand. This is so powerful. She was already married with a very nice, beautiful Brahmin girl, but she got attached to the lusty feeling towards that prostitute because that prostitute expressed herself in a very vulgar way in front of him. That's why all this media and all those men and women who express their bodily features in a very vulgar way, in seductive manner, it's very dangerous to associate with them, to see them and to talk to them. It may induce the lusty feelings within the heart. Uh, okay, time is up. We'll discuss more about this verse tomorrow. But although this is very difficult, but good thing is the last line is very hope giving for all of us, because all these attractions and temptations can be immediately overcome. One can transcend it. One cannot cross it. That's not possible. It's like an ocean. How long you can cross? Just like you are when you are within the ocean, it's not practically possible that you can cross the ocean by swimming. It doesn't matter how great swimmer you may be. But you can transcend the ocean if you just come out of the ocean, even 2 inch above the ocean, by catching hold of the rope given supplied by the helicopter who's flying above the ocean. Similarly, this the rope of Krishna consciousness is so powerful that one can transcend altogether all the ocean of these temptations for sense enjoyment. But practically, it is not possible for any person, including great demigods, to cross over the ocean of sense enjoyment, temptations for sense enjoyment. One cannot do so. So, how one can transcend this ocean of temptations of sense enjoyment, that we'll discuss more in detail tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Is there any question?